Okay, I think we are on with recording. So I think there's some comments that's come up. Okay, cool. I'll keep trying to keep a track of all the comments that people send. So I'm really happy to see that there's a lot of folks from Bangalore, but that's also because we only marketed it primarily to Platform Engineers Bangalore group. But I think I'm really happy to see folks from Brazil, from Denmark, and other places. Uh, if you have any challenges in understanding English, please translation. I think you might already be aware of that. So let me jump to the question that I have for all of you, which is what automations are you thinking of, right? Like, do you have any use cases in mind that now that you are here at the event, at the workshop, and you want to, do some automations using Grafana, using AI? So what are some of these use cases that you have in mind? You can be anonymous, does not matter. I hope you all can see the question and have an option to answer the question. So I'll keep it open for like 1 minute or 2 minutes so that whatever, day-to-day you have, I'd love to hear about those. Well, there are multiple AI agents now in this call. So, okay. Okay. At least like 50 to 60 people, I hope, and maybe about 10 bots. So, yeah, it's the way of life. Yeah. Okay. 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 Is there a way to mute this sounds? Anyways, never mind. Got it. Okay. We are seeing some. Yeah, we are seeing some local use cases. Send a notification based on the context. I'm seeing this use case here. I'm seeing these frequently enough. Okay. And help with alert storms. Definitely, Andre. I totally hear you. Like, we had an alert storm of what I think some 80 alerts in 2 minutes yesterday, and all of us were just so annoyed. Okay, automatically send alert if some specific log occurs and read context of logs to debug the issue. Okay, to reduce manual interruption. Okay, merge related alerts to the same incident. Okay, related to the same incident. Okay, objective, but definitely what AI is attempting to do. Avoid and detect repetitive alerts. Okay, automatic instrumentation based on language. I would say, yeah, it might instrument, but AI struggles the most on the when it is inter-system interactions, and any kind of instrumentation involves databases, network calls, etc. So to chill during on calls, I love this. I love this. I love the vibe here. Okay. Yeah. I think we have like a fair bit of answers. I think we'll take the step out from here and jump into a couple of context slides that I've created. I'll actually take a couple of questions. If anyone has a question before I actually begin the workshop, please drop it in the Gmeet chat or raise your hands. Please, please feel free to raise your hands. No issues. Okay, I think we are pretty good. I think the agenda is clear, the objective is clear, and people are already here to get started with that. So let me make this change just for fun. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah. I think we are live. Awesome. God. Okay. Uh,
Sweet, we can't see your screen. I mean,
yeah. I know. Yeah, don't worry. I'll manage. I'll be sharing the screen in a bit now. And yes. So this is the team that's in here today. So I think the yeah, now is it perfect? Yes. So the folks from DrDroid who are here are me, Sid. There's Jayesh, there's Dipesh, there's Karan, there's Pops, and there's Shri. And yeah, this is the Slido that was prepared. Okay, let's jump to the next thing. Yes. So these are the three core components that I'll be discussing in detail with all of you today, and getting you guys hands-on with these three components. One is, of course, our Grafana interactions on how do we expose Grafana or an MCP server. I'll come to that, to an AI, or to automate interactions, and how do we trigger all of this from Slack, right? So these are the three portions that I plan to cover today. That, hey, let me see if I can show you what I'm thinking about here. But yeah, I think I should be able to show you, right? Like, yeah, 1 second. Yes, okay. We are set. Sorry. Yes. So you must be able to see my screen. Yes. So given an alert, you get an alert that, how can an AI respond that, hey, I've investigated this alert by checking metrics or logs and ran commands, and this is the potential reason that I found. This is something that by the end of the workshop, you should be able to create your own and deploy and go live with, probably by the end of the workshop, at least for your own test environment, and probably for your company in the next 4 to 3 hours if you want to spend after that. And let's say when you or any of your engineers are working in IDE, I think when you are working in IDE, can you get the logs in context of the code right away and see them, and basically identify, okay, where is the payload actually failing, or where is the data that's actually failing. I hope you all are seeing the right screen. Yes, you are seeing the right screen. So yeah, so like I was saying, we have a Grafana that is our tool in context. Once you can master one tool, then expanding this to 5 and moving all of these things here and there will be very easy. So this is the MCP server for Grafana that we will be talking about, a little bit about what the MCP client means and what the Slack here means, right? So I'll just give you is there someone who would like, if everyone wants me to skip what is an MCP server, what's an MCP client, I'll do that. But if some of you might find it useful, I think it's just a couple of minutes, so it should be okay, right? So first is an MCP server that I'm going to give you a brief context of. Obviously, we all know Grafana APIs, Grafana SDK, or like AWS Boto 3 SDK and other API/SDKs, and they have an authentication mechanism. MCP server is nothing but an abstraction layer that A, makes these APIs AI friendly, B, simplifies authentication for you, and C, does some data processing to not necessarily expose just the raw APIs to you, but not raw APIs to the agent, but maybe something more advanced or nuanced, right? Let me just, in this same context, uh, I'll explain you what this advanced or nuanced could mean. But before that, there are like 3 different ways that you can obviously interact. You can, leverage this. You can leverage it within your IDE in Cursor to, let's say, query your logs. You can write automations wherein an AI agent can query the logs automatically, or you can create like, or pseudo autonomous agents which can actually do things on the go. Yes. So somebody did send. Yes, I'll. There is no reason to necessarily use a third-party Grafana MCP server instead of their official one. You can obviously use the official one as well. It's just that we've spent a lot of time on this third-party server that we built, and if I let me share my screen once, and I'll show you one. Just 1 second. Yes. So there are some of the custom nuances that we've tried to handle. So our company is primarily a company that's focused on agents, and so the things a bit here are that, when you look at our MCP server, and I hope you all are able to see my screen, and when you look at the processor in our server, so it would definitely have, simple functions like, do a PromQL query. But the way the entire server has been designed is that you'll actually be able to even read it in the README, is that we have created a lot of custom functions. So for example, look at this Grafana query dashboard panels. So you can just tell it, hey, go to this dashboard and check metrics related to X, Y, or Z, and it will do that, right? Or it will be able to get context just like you explain to your peers. What happens is Grafana's API doesn't support this natively. So there's a wrapper layer that we've written on top of it, and the code is completely open source, MIT license. So it's pretty much like using official or unofficial server would not make any difference to you. So I'd say give it a shot and see if you feel the difference between the two. Maybe not necessarily in Cursor, but beyond that as well, right? Okay, Benjamin. This is yeah. So I was just, I'll be back to this, right? So this is what I meant by making it AI friendly. I think you'll be able to see the Excalibur screen where my cursor is moving. So this is what I mean when I say AI friendly, that you create, it's as AI friendly as it is human friendly. Like the way you interact with your teammates, the same way you can interact with it. Whereas if you just use the raw APIs without any kind of custom processing, then what you'll be left with is just the native API calls that Grafana provides, which is querying a data source of PromQL, which means all the years of effort that you put in dashboarding, right? Like I have seen some of the most nuanced dashboards with some of my users, and two people just feel AI is too amateur when they use those native APIs, because then they feel like, hey, my dashboard is so rich, but it's not reflecting here, right? So that's what we've tried to solve with the MCP server that we've built out. That can it be as rich as how a human's thinking, as a human's conversation is happening. And at this point, what I'll do is I'll try to take a. Actually, I'll just jump to what this is, what an MCP server is. So this is going to be the first part of our topic that we'll cover. That install Cursor first, and then once you've installed Cursor, then within Cursor make an interaction with your Grafana integration. So for the testing purposes, I'll just ask Dhruv, one of my teammates, to come in and show you how this works, or how he'll set it up. He'll set it up in front of you, and he'll run it, and he'll show you how it works. And while after that, when we take a pause, if you feel like, hey, I have a question, I'm stuck somewhere, right? Like my team has spent infinite time on random different use cases in Grafana with different clients. Obviously, we are not officially Grafana or related to them in any manner, but we'll be happy to answer we'll be happy to help you set it up, or debug issues in the Discord link that I've given here. So Dhruv, can I hand it over to you? Pops?
Yeah, sure thing, sir.
Yeah.
Get started. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So firstly, let's just jump into the repository. And yes, so this is our open source repository for Grafana MCP server. So let me just show you very quickly how we can get it connected to Cursor and how it works with that. So all you have to do is essentially copy this configuration and replace your environment variables over here for your Grafana host. And then just go to Cursor, go to the Cursor settings, and then to the tools and integrations and click on new MCP server. So all you have to do is paste the config over here. So I've just pasted my keys over here and save it. So within a couple of seconds, as you can see, the Grafana MCP server is enabled here. So as you can see, there are like 10 tools over here to test the connection, to query logs, to query metrics, to query dashboards. So let's just quickly try a few things out. So say I want to investigate the logs for a certain service. I can just ask Cursor now to, okay, please fetch and investigate logs for my recommendation service from Grafana Logi. So since this MCP service is connected to Grafana, you don't have to worry about it fetching it from the different data sources, etc. So as you can see, it's trying to get the data sources available to your Grafana instance first. And now it's going to query Loki. So as you can see right here, we've gotten all the logs for my recommendation service. And it's giving me a summary as well. Now let's try to see if it can get a dashboard. And it's also giving me an analysis of something that could be missing and things like that. Right? So let's ask it to fetch metrics from my Go microservices dashboard and report any anomalies. So first I'll try to match and try to find what the actual dashboard UID is. Now that it's found it, it's going to get the dashboard config about what all variables it's supposed to use for that.
Hey, Dhruv, can you show the output as well?
Yeah. So as you can see, it's trying to get the metrics for my Grafana MCP server by setting the correct parameters. And now it's gotten all of the JSON output essentially for the data and the values and things like that. So it has essentially queried all of my panels and given me the raw output from the Grafana MCP server for the panels. And within this, as you can see, I can also specify the exact service that I want. So I can just stop this now and say, fetch all the metrics for the shipping for the currency service in the node microservices dashboard. So dashboard level variables and all those things are completely handled within the MCP server. So now that it already knows the ID, it's just going to get the config first and then the dashboard variables. And now it's going to query the dashboard panels for the currency service.
I think this is like a lot of demo already.
Yeah.
What we can do is, I think this should take about. Is there like? Let me just do a quick poll. Yeah.
So as you can see, it's running all the queries for all the dashboards and also trying to run separate PromQL queries for metrics that it feels may be anomalous. And now it's giving me a complete analysis of what's wrong, what might be wrong, and how every metric is doing.
Okay, so Dhruv, can you unshare your screen once?
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah. So if you can please answer this, like so that 5 minutes will be enough if you already have a cursor and Grafana integration. If you have it behind a VPC, don't worry. As long as your local host can access it, you should be able to access it. It should not be a problem. As long as your browser is able to access it, the cursor should also be able to access it. And you don't really need to clone the repo or anything. You just can use the Docker image directly. So that should also not take any issues. Okay, this yeah. So anyways, I've started the timer. So as I get more responses, if people want more time, then I'll just push it out. I'll keep it for 10 minutes. Otherwise, I think 5 should be good. And I will drop in the Discord channel link here so that if you just face any issues, just ping on the Discord, and one of us can like huddle or have a chat with you right there. So there are two links pinned. One is the document by which we are following the yeah. Yes, so there are two links which are pinned. One is the document, workshop document, and the second one is the Discord server link. If you get stuck anywhere, I think there are some common troubleshooting issues that we have mentioned. So one of the common issues that you'll see is you'll be stuck at loading when you save the MCP config. So make sure your Docker desktop is open. If your Docker desktop is not open, then you might have to follow a slightly longer process, which will require you to basically clone the repo and then then deploy it as a local service. So I suggest that ideally, yeah. So I can see I have cursor installed. How to connect to MCP server? Are you asking if you need to do something to enable MCP server on cursor? No, you don't need to do anything to connect to enable MCP server on cursor. You need to go to within cursor. You need to go to click on cursor on the top left next to wherever you see settings, and go to cursor settings, and then you will see over there within cursor settings you'll be able to see an option called tools and integrations. Over there you can add a new MCP server. Yes, Dhruv just sent it to you. Amarnath, is this what you were asking? Okay, cool. So in case you are unable to see any data, there's a function called test connections. So if you just ask AI, hey, please test the Grafana connection, it should be able to confirm whether or not that's working. Okay, Samyak, so to get the API key, you can follow this one. Dhruv, do you want to share your screen and show like a sample Grafana place? Yeah.
Okay, is my screen visible now? Or is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So all you have to do is go to your Grafana instance, and then within administration, go to the service accounts section over here within users and access, right? And then go to service account, and just maybe you can use an existing service account, or you can just add another service account.
Yes. So
and just create it with the role viewer. That'll be sufficient. Once you've created the service account, you just have to add a service account token. Just give it a name and generate a token. You can just copy this token and input it into the config that is there in our repository. So yeah.
if some of you folks have been able to do this already, please send a message. Location of config.json.
Let me just share a link to that.
It will be called mcp.json. Oh, 1 second. Yeah. If some of you folks have been able to successfully connect, please drop in a message so we know that it's started to, at least some of you have been able to do the connection. Okay, great, Imran. Awesome, Karan. So I think while some of you folks are busy, for the folks who've already completed it, I'll share an interesting, fun way, about how interacting with agents is, and you might find it interesting. So when let me just show you this tool, fetch dashboard panels. So one of the things that we had noticed when we started building was that the AI agent would, repeatedly hallucinate in terms of how does it query the dashboard, or it would just uh, sorry, just one second. So Amarnath, you'll have to fetch not the API key, but the service account token. I'll just share the instruction. Okay. 1 second. Yes. So, sorry, there's a typo there. You'll have to copy paste the service account key, not the API key. Is that right, Dhruv?
Yeah, sir. It's called the service account. Okay.
Awesome. So yes, I was saying oftentimes the agent might hallucinate in terms of not fetching the dashboard, or not fetching the dashboard for the configuration that you might want. So you need to mention to it that, hey, always fetch the dashboard variable values before fetching the dashboard data itself. So that helps in strengthening or ensuring that the agent hallucinates lesser and lesser. So we'll wait for 2 more minutes, and then at 20 minutes past the clock, we'll get to the next part, if that's okay by everyone. All right. I think, does everyone feel they want to, just 1 second, I'll just put in another poll. Shall we proceed to the next part? Okay. Awesome. Cool. So I think for if someone's still spending time on this part, you have any questions, please feel free to add a message or add a message in the Discord community, and we'll keep answering that. Or even here, if you keep adding the message, someone from the team will keep answering. But in the interest of time for everyone else, let me move to the next part. Yes. So this was the MCP server that I was telling you about, and you tried it with an IDE, right? Like how do you get an IDE to interact with your logs or metrics or queries, right? So, but as it happens for most of our production situations, we might not want to query logs or metrics within the cursor IDE itself, right? So for that reason, I'll jump to the next part and talk about what we are talking about as MCP clients, right? So this interaction that you said that I was mentioning to you about this is like a server that has access to these integrations and can be connected from Slack directly. So the way it will work is you get an alert or a message in Slack, and that triggers this entire workflow, ensuring that you don't need to go to IDE to check metrics. It's quite inefficient. You would ideally want it within your Slack workspace itself, or wherever your alerts are, wherever your investigations are happening, right? So now we'll be walking through this second project called Slack AI Bot Builder. So it's like an AI agent slash AI bot builder. I'll be sharing there should be a link to the repo in the same document in this part too, right? And we'll be going through the setup of the doc for the purpose of everyone. But before we even jump to that, what we will do is I'll give you a quick walkthrough. So the purpose of this backend service kind of a system, like you can think about it like a backend bot for your AI agent kind of setup. Now the purpose of having this dedicated is because there's a lot of things that are going on here. Let's say you want to set up any kind of automation. So you will need an automation rule that, hey, if I get an alert for my payment service, cluster in demo alerts, then don't do anything, but in prod alerts, then do something. You need to write your rules, right? You need to integrate with your AI provider like LLM, like an OpenAI or any other vendor. You need to write, sometimes you need to write custom scripts that, hey, this is what I want to do, right? So that is the entire abstraction that is happening within this AI bot builder. So if you follow the I'll just ask someone, let's say Karan or Dhruv, one of you, if you can just share your screen and show what the output looks like from. So this is like about a couple of minutes of setup. Like you'll have to create your own ngdoc instance, you will create your own Slack app, and then you will basically end up deploying this as a instance, and then you'll see that you ask the AI you drop a message in the channel in Slack, and you get an analysis of your logs, and the agent is able to query your logs, analyze them, and send you a summary in Slack reply. So this alone one bot, this alone one repo will be able to help you solve for all of it. Listen to an alert, understand that it's first. Sorry, let me get back to the same part. First is listen to an alert through the listener, then understand what evaluation or what rule it follows, and then do an investigation by going to the MCP server, then do the analysis with AI, and then send it back to the Slack instance, right? So If either of you can, Dhruv, Karan, if one of you can just share your screen and show the output, that'll be great. Karan, can you do that?
Yeah, sorry, could you repeat? I was just
Yeah.
got to it.
Can you just show the output of how these Slack interactions are working, or if you
Oh,
have?
yeah.
Yeah.
One second. Definitely. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. Let me show you. Yes. If I just write fetching all dashboards from Grafana AI, and then just tag the bot. So Grafana AI is a
You can show your workflow rule so that people get what you're talking about.
yes. I'll just show that.
Workflows.yaml. So yeah, if you see the third one,
Here, right? So if this is the phrase, if you enter this phrase in your prompt in Slack, then this will get triggered. This script will get triggered. So if I just do this, if I press enter,
yeah. And why don't you show that script? So the script is actually just a boilerplate to help you understand how do you make AI do something without asking it specifically that go and run this specific query for these specific hours and find this data. This is not a deterministic code. This is just a way the MCP server just that you just created, right? This is a sample script to help you understand how you can connect that MCP server to an AI and your Slack at the same time. So if you
go back to Slack, I
Yes.
would have gotten the reply. I can see all of the data of all of the dashboards.
yeah, we can do some more pretty print and help improve all of those, but and I'll show you some pretty printed responses also towards the end. But this output can come out right out of the box, like with this is just a boilerplate that is kept ready for you. So if you go back to the script, Karan, and if you show folks how it's operating, right? So you don't need to really make any change to get to this point. Scroll down. Yes, so just 1 second. Yeah, so in the line 66, it's able to get the list from the MCP server.
Yeah.
And then it is loading it to the, if you scroll down further, yeah. Yes, so it's loading the tools to the LLM, and then you don't need to really manually do anything. It's able to automatically do that. Yeah, when you see row number 82, it's the tools to the LLM, and then LLM is deciding which one do I query at that point, and then responds with the analysis in your Slack reply. So why don't we go back to the repository, and we could get started with it. It's a bunch of small steps. Like all you're doing is if you scroll up, right? So there's a Slack manifest.json as well, which will help you back. You just have to follow the first 4 steps that are written here, and by the end of it, you will be able to get to a place where you are able to set up this entire automation on your Grafana data from your Slack with your bot. So if there's any questions, I'll take it up. Otherwise, I'll assume that everyone wants to jump into doing it hands-on. While you'll be trying to do it hands-on, the link to that is already there in the workshop document that is pinned here. I'm sharing it again just in case someone needs. But yes, please raise your hand or unmute and ask a question if you want to ask a question before we get further. Okay. I think about, what do you guys say? 15 minutes? 15 minutes is good to set this up. Okay. Srishti, I think. Okay. Okay. Cool. I'll just put in a timer for 15 minutes, and what I can do is, Dhruv, you don't have it set up, right?
Not right now, sir.
Discord group name is. So I'll share the Discord link as well. So Dhruv, why don't you share your screen and do it in parallel, on mute with limited comments, so that people are also following you while you are doing it. And if somebody wants to ask any question, they can ask a question about a specific step as well while you're doing it.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get started with that. Let's go to api.slack.com. My apps. Let's create a new app from a manifest. Right, I'm going to install it into the DrDroid workspace. And now let me just go back to the repository. So let me just copy the Slack manifest JSON from here and paste it here, right? So now what I need to do is that I need to set up my Slack AI bot. So let's jump into that. So yes. So as you can see, I've cloned the repository and I've put in my credentials, the OpenAI key, the bot token, etc. But since we're creating a new app here, let's just first expose it via ngrok, port number 5000, and copy this over here. Yes. And paste it here. And here. Let's hit next and create the bot. So now that my bot is created, let me just go and replace the app ID. So yeah, Slack bot, signing secret, and the bot token, which we can find from OAuth and permissions. So first I'll have to install it into my DrDroid. Allow. Okay, so now that it's here, let me just replace my bot token here. Okay, so now that we've set up all the credentials, let's go to the workflows. So as you can see, I've set up a few basic workflows. So let's get this server started first. So all you have to do is run uv sync once you've cloned the repository, and then uv run python app.py. So now this server is running on port 5000 and the ngrok is exposing that port 5000, right? So now that I've got my Slack client running, let me now check if my Grafana MCP server is running. So the procedure for running the Grafana MCP server here is slightly different because you need a HTTP server for this. So all you have to do is clone the repository and then
Should we take a couple of minutes pause for people to be able to get till here?
yeah,
Like,
sure.
let folks create the Slack bot
Yeah.
and the ngrok token, and add the configs in the what file is it?
In the credentials.yaml.
Credentials.yaml, right? So let's take a pause till you can, create the simple Slack bot and, add your key, so that, you can just get started with the next part of actually doing the end-to-end automation.
Sure thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think we can put in a couple of minutes of wait, and then we can continue from there.
So let me just
Okay, Shreyas, I think that's a great question. At what would we use the AI tool and the non-AI tool? So this is a, slight bit of a hack that we've done. The way it works is you would use the non-AI tool.py file template when you want to not use AI to decide what to query. So in this one, if you would notice, the params are being pre-configured and sent as arguments to the function call. Right here, the params are being pre-configured and you're already deciding that these are the data points that you want to fetch. This is equivalent to querying the SDK. And then you are using AI to do only the analysis part. Versus in this case, you are giving AI a bit of a free hand to decide out of the list of tools, which one does it want to pick. It's getting a list of tools and it is deciding what it wants to do with it. Versus in this case, AI doesn't get any tool. You decide what data you want to query upfront. But what we've done is to avoid using Grafana APIs again, we just reuse the same MCP servers tools, but instead of using AI, we do it in a deterministic manner. So non-AI would be when you only want AI analysis, and Grafana AI would be when you want both analysis as well as deciding what to fetch by the AI basis your prompt or basis your alert. So I hope that's clear, or at least a bit clear. I hope I was showing the right screen. Okay, awesome, Shreyas. Folks, are you able to set up the Slack bot? If not, I'll wait a couple of more minutes. Otherwise, Dhruv will jump to the next part, which is to do the MCP server integration and connection. Any comments would be great. Okay. Okay, take your time, guys. No worries. Slack integration does take a couple of seconds, couple of minutes. Yeah. Popuri में
हाँ सर
Is anyone here able to create a Slack app yet by creating the ngrok endpoint and then the Slack app? Oh, nice. Great, Chinmay. Nice, Prasad.
Yes, Sid. How?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just continue with the remaining portion where we integrate the MCP server with our Slack AI bot. So now that we have a Slack app set up and we've written all of this stuff in the credentials.yaml, let me show you how we can set up the MCP server. The process for this will be slightly different because we'll need to have a HTTP server set up for this. So it's pretty simple. All you have to do is clone the repository and then install UV using pip install UV if you don't have it. And once UV is installed, you have to run two commands: UV sync, which installs all of the packages, and then UV run python app.py. So wait a second. Let me just create a fresh environment. Sync. Okay. And okay. So now we have to run UV run -m src. You can find this command in the README. So essentially, we're just running the server. And now we have the MCP server running on port 8000. So now let's go back here and to the Grafana AI tool. And as you can see, we specified the MCP URL to localhost 8000/MCP because we have it running here at port 8000. So now that we've got this set up, let us add our bot to. So let me first explain the different workflows that I've set up. So this is the Grafana AI tool workflow that I've set up. So it refers to this script, which is essentially calling our MCP server using an LLM. And this is the wildcard that it's going to look for within a message. And I've also mentioned that it is necessary for the Slack bot to be mentioned within the message to trigger this workflow. Right. So I just created a sample. I just created a sample workspace on Slack, as you can see.
I think, Dhruv, you can skip the showing on this Slack. I think people have already seen that.
Yeah. So once this is done, your MCP server is essentially ready to go with your Slack application. So all I have to do is add my Slack bot here and then send the messages that you want to.
Yeah.
That should work. Yes.
Yes. Awesome. So we've so in the interest of time, as we are at the clock already, and we might still take about 10 to 15 minutes before we close out. So the doc will remain here for your reference, everyone. So I think you do not need to be worried about, using the losing your progress. And we are always available on Discord as well, so we can interact there as well as needed. If you all don't mind, if just for the next couple of minutes we can discuss how this can go deeper for you, and then we can wrap up the conversation. Does that work for you guys? Okay, I think, yeah, okay. So now what we have seen is, until now, the first part was how MCP servers are operating. The next part was how the MCP client is operating, and then how it's interacting with the Slack messages and Slack replies, right? So now let me give you a glimpse of where this project goes in the near future. Like, what is the quality that you will be able to get out of this? Right? This is something that I have set up. So you don't even need to honestly sign up to be able to test this out. If you're seeing my screen, so the way the company behind all these open source projects, DrDroid, the way we have been working is there are two more things that we bring into the picture. One is your alerts, and second is your context, which does not need to be injected manually in every script or in every workflow that you write. So the way this works is there's a AI chat assistant here. You can add any of your microservices that you have here, right here. You can add any of your alerts here, and you can also add any of your documents here. So documents are not available in the open version. Let me just log in with my account to give you a glimpse. Yes, we are logged in. So you can see all the alerts that you're getting here. You can also group them in different ways. But if you don't want to group them, you can still see them individually. And when you decide to investigate an alert, if the alert has a runbook associated with it, that gets attached automatically. If it does not, you can attach a runbook. Now, a runbook in this situation is nothing but a simple document that you've written explaining what the agent needs to do. So if you don't want to have anything really deep written. You can just write simple things. Right? In this runbook, I've just written, hey, first notify the Slack, then send this, trigger this curl command, and then trigger another curl command. And I just wrote it in English because it was quick for me, and it's just a prompt that goes to the agent. Now here, instead of the agent having just Grafana access, it would have access to multiple different tools. Like in this case, the agent would have access to about right. So now it knows these are the tasks available. I run all of them. Yep, and this is the list of integrations that this agent has. This agent has access to your Kubernetes, your Grafana, your cloud, your Jenkins, your Argo, your whatever cloud providers you're using. So yeah, I think we're still in early beta for the cloud, and we'll be focusing on the open source projects for a while. So in case you want to, we'll keep the exact same functionality as much as we can between the two. So if you want to get started and play around, you can, skip all the hoops of setup, and you can just get started with just adding one-click credentials and moving from the cloud platform as well. So yes, and we'll be expanding the feature set on the open source project as well, in case you want to, for at least for your early validations internally, want to stick to the open source version itself, right? So we're okay with either way. So I'm happy to take up any more questions that any of you might have about what we showcased and what you all learned today. Awesome. Yes, I think we can share the recording. That should not be a problem. Okay, I think we're pretty much at the end of the session, and if any of you have any more questions, please feel free to. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Shreyas. Yeah. Awesome. I think we can wrap up. Thanks, Prasad. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, everyone. We can continue our discussion on the Discord, and I'll share the link on the Meetup channel itself. Yes, so that on the Meetup event itself, because I do not have access to your email IDs, but it's okay. I'll just send it to you on the Meetup itself. So yeah, I think we are great. We are at the end of the clock. Let's wrap it up, and yeah, we'll keep in touch. Thank you, everyone.